What is up, guys? It's your boy Nick Torius, back again with another video. I said I'm back again with another video. And today I'm going to be explaining to you guys about other people's projections onto you, right? And what does that mean? So like the video, comment below what you think about the video, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. So basically, a lot of times we grow up, right? As a kid, we're like basically a clean slate, right? It's like we wipe our slate clean, right? We're born into this world. We have no programming, right? As kids, we have very little programs, right? No one's really molded. Like little children are minds to be molded, right? And we're molded in our minds by our minds are molded basically by the people and our circumstances and experiences, right? So a lot of times grown-ups, like adults, they have no idea how to like speak to children or treat children, right? Or they take it for granted, right? Because you get so used to being an adult and a parent, and so used to like kids bothering the fuck out of you that you just go off on them, right? Like I don't know this. Like I'm not a parent, so I can't really speak for parents. Because a lot of times parents be like, oh, just wait till you have kids. Just wait till you have kids. The way I see children is that, children are just extensions of us, right? Like a child, like everything that's in us is gonna come out in our kids, right? Like you mate with somebody. If you're a dude, you mate with a girl. If you're a girl, you mate with a dude, right? And you guys come together, and then you create, a person, right? So whatever is inside of the woman and whatever is inside of the man is gonna be in that kid, right? They are extensions of you combined with somebody else, right? Like you and your girl, and the nigga are two separate entities, right? But then once they become together, they create a whole person, right? Like I don't even see kids as like kids. I see them as like young like small adults, right? You can't talk to them like small adults, obviously, but they're empty, right? They're like trash cans. They're trash cans that are brand new. You can put a whole bunch of shit in there, a whole bunch of trash in there, right? And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of times people just project their trash onto the kids, right? The difference between projecting onto an adult and projecting on a child is that a kid is gonna take that shit for real, right? A kid is gonna take that shit serious, and an adult is gonna be like, okay, that's not who I am. I don't believe these things that you're saying to me. Like just because you're saying these things to me, that's basically just you, right? That's you projecting onto me. The thing is, I project onto people a lot, right? I'm always projecting onto people. It's a bad habit that I have, and I don't like doing it, right? But I catch myself doing it sometimes. I'm like, damn. Because a lot of times because one thing about doing acid is, like, for me, it made me realize that a lot of things that people say isn't just like them really saying it. Because it's like, where the fuck is it coming from, right? It's weird. Like me saying this to you right now, it's like I'm not really thinking about it. I'm not thinking like, oh, what I say next. It's just coming out, right? It's like the universe is using me as a vessel to explain this message, right? Like I have this message. I'm just like the keyboard, right? It's like the keyboard doesn't say the words that you write. You write the words into the keyboard, and it's like we're all keyboards, right? And the universe is us writing whatever, right? So a lot of times things that people say to us, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But a lot of times things that people say to us are true, right? Even if people lie to us, sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not true, right? But if someone's saying things to us for a reason, it's like, let's say that you're skinny, right? Because a lot of times what happens is that like I've noticed this in fat kids families, right? A lot of times family members would say like, oh, you're so fat. Especially in like Caribbean and like Hispanic households, it's like grandmas and abuelas and everything, they'd be like quick to be like, oh, you're so fat, you've gotten so fat, oh, like you got fat, right? And they don't understand that when you say that to kids, especially kids, what happens is that it creates something in their psyche, right? It creates something in their psyche and their ego that basically identifies themselves as, okay, this person's saying I'm fat, even though I know I'm not fat. They're saying I'm fat, so that means that I'm seeing that other people think I'm fat, even though they might not. Like they'll be like, oh, mi gordita, because you are a fat baby, right? And they'll call you gordita, and it's like, you're not fat. Like you're not fat, so basically you're gonna see yourself as fat, right? Because you're just like, damn, am I really fat, right? Because I know for sure this happened to me, because my grandma used to say that shit to me too, because my grandma's always saying like people are fat and shit, right? And she used to say, oh, you're getting fat. And my nigga, I was 130 pounds. Bruh, I was 130 pounds. Like, I look back at my pictures. Man, my bitch was bad as fuck. I look back at my pictures, right? And I'm like, damn, bro, I was so skinny. And I used to think I was fat. What the fuck? I'm fat now, bro. And like, I'm probably not even fat right now, right? And it's like, you know, the thing is, I would see myself as fat and as unattractive because of that, right? Because they would say these things, you know? And like, not just my grandma, like my whole family. They would say shit like that, and it's like I wasn't even fat. Like, you know, they just project on like themselves, like, because when people judge you, basically what they're judging on you is whatever they judge in themselves and they don't want in themselves, right? So if someone thinks that you're ugly, it's because they themselves think that they are ugly, right? Whenever I look into like people's eyes and shit or whatever, I always hear a lot of times I can feel what they're feeling, right? And I feel like they're like, oh, ugly. Like, I'll just hear like horrible things, right? Some people not so much, but some people I can like feel their self-esteem, right? I can feel like how much self-esteem some people have, and it's like if they think that they're ugly or if they think that they're good looking. And it's like I'm not sure exactly if it's like me projecting onto them, or if it's just me judging them, or if it's just me saying the things that I think about myself onto them, or if I really think those things about them, right? But it's like sometimes it's more intensified on some people, right? Like I had this manager one time, and it's like I could not look in her eyes, right? Because every time I would look in her eyes, I would think, oh, she's ugly. It's just like I would attack her just saying she was ugly. I'm just like, damn, bro, I don't mean it like that. Like, it's like, like for me, I wish I could just like stop judging people. It's so annoying because it's like it's hurtful, because it makes them kind of. I realized why I had bad vibes all my life, because I would always just judge people, right? But yeah, what else was I talking about? Yeah, so you know, we think we project onto others when we judge them, right? Like my mom would always say a lot of things to me, right? And all my life I would always believe that they were true, right? I would believe like, damn, I'm really such a horrible person, I'm really such a bad person, I'm a terrible person, right? Like I don't deserve to live and shit and all that stuff, because my mom would just like constantly yell at me and berate me and shit and nag at me and shit, and I just be like taking it, and it's just like I would believe those things, right? Because it's like your parents, right? It's like whatever your parents say goes, that's law. So it's like if they say that you ain't shit, then it's like you're gonna believe that you ain't shit, right? That's why I made a video yesterday talking about, oh, I'm just that nigga, right? Like I love being by myself, right? I love living my own, because it's like I don't have to deal with thinking like, you know, like being up here and then having to pull myself down here just for other people, right? Even if it's for my family, I don't give a fuck what family member it is. Like I'm not gonna bring myself down to just be at your level. Like people love bringing other people down to be at their level, right? And it's like you don't progress if you're down at that level. Like I wonder how far my life would be right now, how far gone it would be if I just like, you know, always, if I was believing myself, if I would, you know, like, yeah, I feel like I've accomplished a couple things, but I feel like I could have gone a lot farther, right? Like I feel like life could have been a little different. But I mean, it happened for a reason, right? Just like I was saying, sometimes people project onto you because that's the universe speaking to you, right? Sometimes the universe has funny tricks on you. Like the universe has funny tricks. Like the universe will be like, you know what? Like for me, right? The universe made me. It's like my life is like a game, right? My life is a game for the universe, and it's like for 25 years, I went about having bad vibes, right? I went about living a dumb life, as in like, you know, like being berated and being bullied and being like talked down on and having no boundaries and you know, having to like succumb to other people and shit. And I was like, okay, after 25 years, now I'm gonna, you know, it's time the tables will turn. And I realized and I learned, like, damn, you know, like that's not the way to live life, right? Like it's you gotta be positive. Like I feel like now the effects of like the LSDs that I was taking and shit, it kind of worn off, and I'm going a little back to my negativity, right? My negative ways, because now I'm like drawing demons and shit, and I'm being on this demon wave. But I mean, that's one aspect, right? That's one thing. But I've understand the lessons, right? I feel like I've taken I remember the lessons enough, and I've documented them enough to like really kind of live by them, right? Like one thing for sure, like one thing I just revisited, right, was that, you know, we live this life, right? Like this life is chilling, you know, like it's like Earth is supposed to be a savage ass place. Earth is a very dense, savage place, but it's like, you know, like we just enjoy it, right? Like I feel like Earth is like a prison, right? It's a prison, and the test is to just like enjoy yourself, right? It's like indulge, have a fun life. But if you want to indulge, you gotta work for it, right? Like it's like life is so crazy. We're just born into random situations. It's like what a crazy life, right? What a crazy game. It's crazy. But yeah, what was I saying? Projections, right? I would always have to listen to my mom's projections. Like I'll be in the car with her just yelling at me for hours and hours, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like I would always tune her out, right? I would just tune her out. But then I realized that what I was doing, I was detaching from my body, right? When I was tuning her out, because I couldn't deal with listening to that shit. Because it's like she was just making me feel bad about myself. Like she would make me feel so horrible, bro. It would be so annoying, and I'd just be like, damn, I'm so tired of this. But yeah, like, and I would believe the things that she was saying, the horrible thing. And my mom was a Scorpio, right? So she was saying horrible things. So it's like confidence, self-esteem shattering things. And it's so funny because like people will be like commenting on my podcasts and like my interviews and be like, oh, this guy's so awkward. It's like, yeah, I know, right? I know, right? I wonder why. But yeah, you just gotta not believe the things that people are projecting onto you, right? Like people will project onto you if you're grown, like if you're like 16, 17, or like even if you're like 10 years old, bro, and your parents, you got horrible parents that just yell at you and say dumb shit, at some dumb stuff to you, you know, you just gotta understand, you've got to find who you are, right? Know that you are, like, you might think you're the ugliest person in the world. Just don't, right? Just don't think that you're ugly. Just think, okay, people say I'm ugly, but I don't think I'm ugly. And you just got to stick to that, right? It's like an anchor on a boat, right? It's like the boat is floating, and then you just keep that anchor. And no matter how much the tide, the boat floats, the boat's not gonna go nowhere. The tide, the waves will push the boat up and down, side to side, left to right, all this stuff. But that boat's gonna stay there, right? No matter how much they push it, like no matter how much your parents yell at you, no matter how much your girl that yells at you, or your dude, or your boss, or whoever the fuck it is, you gotta just keep that anchor and just be like, okay, you can say whatever the fuck you want, you can say all these things, but I don't believe that, right? I don't believe anything that you're saying. So yeah, I hope this helps you guys. With that being said, like the video, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new, and if you have any questions, just DM me on Instagram at Torius at 6 Feet Interviews, and I will make a video talking about your question. And don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon and donate. That being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.